Hey everyone, it's Elise. Welcome back to the channel. And this video is going to be me talking about my debt mistakes and a little bit about the growth that has happened since then. I like to talk about finances on this channel, but most of the videos are about like how I've done well. And I think it was time to kind of show the other side of how I haven't always gotten it right, and that it's good to show the ebbs and flows of what happens in your finances. I will say that I do think that I make good financial decisions for the most part, but we all have different origins when it comes to money, and we all have our hiccups when it comes to money, or most people do, and I'm no different. So I think where my hiccups come from is that I didn't have discretionary income ever until I was 26 years old, when I was done with all of my schooling. And to go from no discretionary income to a lot of discretionary income, yes, I made some mistakes. And it made me think about like how many of us make mistakes in our 20s or 30s or even teens with money. And I mean, if you have some in your 20s, let me know in the comments, like what can you look back on and be like, yeah, I did that, I'm guilty. Maybe you bought a $45,000 car because you got your first job and you just always wanted a nice car because you've been driving a Beater forever, or you got a Chanel bag. That's $10,000. I did not do any of those, but I thought about it, and I definitely could have done it at 26-year-old with a big baller job that I had just gotten. I will say, so yeah, let me know in the comments what mistakes you made in your 20s. I will say that these things that I'm about to tell you do make me cringe, but I don't necessarily regret them. I can't say that I do. That may change, but they do cringe. They are cringy for sure. So the number one debt mistake that I made was, really quick though, can you please like this video on the bottom left? It helps me a lot. You guys have been helping me very much, and people are getting to this channel because of you, so I appreciate it. But the very first thing that I did getting out of college and into my big job that I wish I didn't, that got me into debt, was wrapping up my credit card. I had, at the peak of credit card debt, $4,000 that I had never had when I was in undergrad or grad school. And it all started from a Black Friday. I would just buy things and buy things and buy things. And before I knew it, a couple years down, I had $4,000 of credit cards debt. And I was like, I didn't like this. So when I was realizing that I wanted to get my life together to pay off my student loans, I had to take chunks of my paycheck to do that, and I kind of regret doing that. Or not regret it, but I kind of wish that I didn't have to spend this time paying off my credit card first and then paying off my debt. If I had never put the money on the credit card, I would have never had to pay it off first. The second thing I did as a post-grad, having a lot of money, was I paid for extravagance vacations. And I'm talking about multiple vacations throughout that time. It was still once a year, but baby, I balled out. Those vacations each for one person or other people, sometimes I was going with other people, were $4,000 to $6,000 each. And it was because I was treating myself. I wanted to go to 5-star hotels. I wanted room service. I wanted to go out a couple times a day. I wanted to make sure I got a certain amount of souvenirs every place I went to, blase swazi, the whole nine, baby. I treated myself, and it was very nice. So I don't know if I regret it, but when it came time to pay my student loans, I kind of was cringing at it, not regretting it, because I had a great time and I treated myself. And sometimes you are the asset that you need to propel. But I was like, I have paid for a $4,000 vacation, a $6,000 vacation, another $4,000 vacation. That is $14,000 that could have gone to my student loans. That was $160,000 at the time. So that is very cringe. And I put those on the credit card. Now, to be fair, I would pay that part off quick, but I did put it on the credit card. Have y'all ever put a vacation on a credit card? Let me know in the comments, because I definitely have. And I'm not urging for inappropriate credit card behavior, but 20-year-old Elise up to 30-year-old Elise definitely did that. The third thing that I did was cash out my 401k when I left my job, my first big baller job, and went to my second one that I just left a year ago. And that 401k amount was $9,000, and I just cashed it out because I'm like, oh, it's only $9,000. And I had only put in half at that point. My employer would match whatever I put in, and so I really only put 4.5. So it's like, it's not a big deal compared to what I'm making. It's not a big deal. I've only been working there for a year. But when I look back at it, I cringe, as now that $9,000 at 37 is probably would have been honestly like $50,000. So instead of having 110, I would have had $160,000 in my 401k right now. It's definitely something that I cringe at, and it is definitely oh, and also I did tell my tax people, but they didn't note it correctly, so I ended up owing the government $2,000, and because it was like a year in lag, I owed interest. So that's why I included under debt, because I owed money, and I definitely should have just transferred it and saved myself from incurring debt from something. But that honestly is financial illiteracy, and that's why it's important to talk about money, because I didn't know that that was my consequence and that I was going to be penalized for it. Now, since these mistakes, there has been some growth. Like I said, this last time I transferred my 401k. I still take vacations. I just have a vacation sinking fund that every month I put this amount of money to my vacation, and when it's time for it to happen, I pay everything on the credit card, and then I pay it off within as soon as it clears from it being pending, that it's paid off. And it was almost that I wasn't going to go on vacation this year, and I was just going to let that thing add up until the next year when I decided to go, because I have grown, and I still have a lot of fun on my vacations, and they're not nearly as much. Now I'm thinking my vacations are going to be between, honestly, $1,500 to $3,000 whenever I plan to, and when I'm a millionaire, I'll go back to those $6,000 to $10,000 vacations, but not right now. And as far as my credit card spending is controlled AF. And I know sometimes y'all have seen that I complain a lot of like, oh, money is so tight. Money, I don't like, what am I going to do? Because that's my psychology thing. Like, that's something where I'm probably a little too boom at. I worry about money a little bit more than the average. However, sometimes I'll be laying back and thinking like, Elise, but your credit cards are good. Like you owe, I think my credit card balance is $400, and I'm okay with that. I know that may go against the grain, but I can pay $400 off today if I need to. It's not $4,000. I'm okay with keeping that. And that's if I want to go out every once in a while, treat myself something to eat, or buy myself something cute, put in the credit card as long as it doesn't go above that $400 limit that I purchased for myself. But across everything, I'm like, you know what? You be stressing out, but do you have credit card debt? And the answer is no. And I might not be where I want to be, but I am nowhere near where I used to be, and I think that is the gotcha, and that is what we should be aiming for. Like, we don't have to be perfect, but as we're getting older, hopefully we're getting wiser. I still steward my money in a way that is faithful and responsible as it is given to me and as I have earned it, but I still allow for money enjoyment, because you only have one life, and I'm not trying to waste it. So if there's something that I want to buy, I'm going to buy it. If it's something new that people say shouldn't buy new, I'm going to buy it. Because again, I am my asset that I invest for and that I make dividends for it myself, because I've invested in myself. So if you have made debt mistakes and financial mistakes, it is okay as long as we learn from them and keep going forward. So again, let me know in the comments what debt mistakes you have made in your 20s and your 30s, maybe your late teens, and I will see you guys in the next video.